Current challenges facing workplace as a service.
I think the big issue for workplace as a service ultimately is staying relevant.
But the one thing you really want to always remember is that you maintain your brand.
I think it's scale.
Some of the challenges for these workplace services are they're relatively new, so there's a lot of kinks to kind of work out. They might be great at building the space, but can they also be good landlords? Do they have the infrastructure that supports your business and how you work? And every company is different. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all.
The challenges that I hear from my clients are things around employee experience, right? Is it going to be generic the way that whatever workplace as a service provider we use is going to do it? I think another challenge is technology and security. Cybersecurity is a really, really important issue, and it can be very expensive to put your own security in there. Now, I think there are ways like virtual desktop and virtual desktop services that can sidestep that issue, but I think that's a very important challenge for workplace as a service.
When you think about companies like what WeWorks have done, is they're really selling an experience. Because when you go to WeWorks, you are not using it as a workplace as a service. You're agreeing to their experience. You're buying their experience. You're not buying a service.
And the other challenge is putting the proper documentation in place and understanding how to incorporate workplace as a service from a position that it's complementary to our traditional long-term leasing and not competitive to it. And I think those of us who have been spending a lot of time in that space have recognized that that is the case, but it is a change of thinking and it's taking some time for the market as a whole to kind of wrap their heads around that. So it's more, I would say, education than anything. The challenges around workspace as a service or workplace as a service is more on the landlord side than it is on the occupant side. The occupants have been saying for years that they would like increased flexibility as they think through their space needs.
And I think the challenges are convincing people, okay, should I go to a no-tell or should I go to a WeWork or should I go to an Industrious? That's up to those three companies to figure out how to create that A, glue to keep people, and B, attraction to grab people before they go someplace else.
One challenge facing workplace as a service is in the partnership ecosystem that's associated with the access to and the use of space today. And so that's everything from commercial real estate services firms through to design firms and to the technology providers that help bring workplace to life. So figuring out how to reconsider those partnerships, if in fact there should be partnerships that help you deliver those things, are certainly a series of challenges that are being explored.
The other thing that comes in terms of the challenges is that every owner of space is now a supplier, right? So if you have space, you could become a provider of workplace as a service, just like any person with a car can drive an Uber.
Another challenge for workplace as a service is probably going to be around the economic cycle. I think the workplace as a service companies have grown up in a rising economy since 2009. And so if we have some sort of a disemployment event, how will that impact workplace as a service companies? Some say that it could be good for them because now those who are unemployed will need a place to work or may choose to start companies, right? And I think that's a very valid argument because that's how these things started in the first place. Workplace reduction by major corporations might have an impact on those workplace as a service companies whose business model relies more on corporate activity than it does on, say, individual or startup activity.
On the landlord side, the challenges that we've had around that are in the public markets, getting financing on buildings that have a level of flexible workspace incorporated into them. The banks don't necessarily understand, shorter term leases or don't like seeing that in the rent roll as much as a long tenure lease.